You open an app, choose a destination, and wait. A few minutes later, a car arrives. No driver, no small talk, no tip. You pay $25. The car uses a little electricity, and the company keeps the rest. At least that is the story. Because the empty driver's seat is lying to you. The driver did not disappear. It moved behind the curtain into cameras, LiDAR, computers, maps, remote support teams, depots, cleaners, insurers, and engineers, teaching software what to do when the road stops behaving normally. A robotaxi is not simply a taxi without a driver. It is a capital-intensive software and logistics network wearing the shape of a car. And the company with the smartest vehicle may not make the most money. So where does the money come from? Follow one vehicle for one day. It earns revenue only when a paying passenger is inside. Every other minute is preparation or expense. Waiting, charging, cleaning, repairing, or repositioning, while the financing clock keeps running. That clock never pauses. Every unpaid minute keeps counting. In May 2025, Waymo reported more than 250,000 paid weekly trips across 4 US markets and a commercial fleet exceeding 1,500 vehicles. Those are company-reported operating figures, not audited profit numbers. They prove meaningful scale, not profitability. An independent 2026 analysis of data filed with California regulators examined roughly 14 million Waymo trips through 2025. It found that only about 54% of vehicle miles had a passenger on board. The rest were spent waiting, repositioning, or reaching a pickup. But who pays for the hidden system? There are 3 basic models. In the integrated model, one company develops the autonomous driver, finances the cars, runs depots, controls the app, finds passengers, and collects fares. It owns the customer and data, but also the vehicle, insurance, charging, downtime, support, and development risk. The partnership model divides the ride. One company supplies the autonomous driver, another owns or operates the fleet, and a platform brings the customer. The passenger sees one car while several businesses wait behind it for a share. The third model is licensing. The autonomy company sells the driver as software and lets partners buy, maintain, and operate the cars. That creates a strange possibility. The best robotaxi company might never carry a passenger. Licensing can avoid fleet costs, but it sacrifices control over pricing, data, and the rider experience. Full integration keeps that control and every bill. But owning the vehicle creates a problem Uber never had. Traditional ride-hailing platforms usually rely on drivers to supply cars. Robotaxis reverse that structure. Someone must finance the fleet before serious revenue arrives. One car is a purchase. 10,000 are an infrastructure project. Sensors and computers must be installed, calibrated, repaired, and replaced. Depots need chargers, technicians, cleaning capacity, spare parts, and enough electrical service for vehicles returning together. There are also 2 kinds of depreciation. Physical depreciation means worn tires, aging batteries, damaged sensors, and stained seats. Technological depreciation means the car still works, but its expensive computer or sensor package is too old for the next software generation. Removing the driver therefore replaces a visible variable expense with fixed and semi-fixed costs, paid before the next passenger appears. But how do you know whether one car is working economically? Do not track completed trips alone. Track paid trips, paid passenger minutes, empty mile ratio, uptime, pickup distance, and revenue per available hour. A busy-looking vehicle may spend too long reaching each customer. For comparison, one Chicago study estimated that conventional taxis carried passengers for roughly 40% of their mileage in June 2019. Automation can improve dispatching, but it cannot erase the geometry of demand. Now comes the most dangerous accounting mistake. A vehicle can produce positive contribution while the company still loses money. Contribution is fair revenue left after direct vehicle costs, such as power, cleaning, maintenance, insurance, and depreciation. Company profit comes later, after software development, mapping, regulation, administration, expansion, and years of capital spending. Keep that distinction in mind for the only detailed model here. These are illustrative assumptions, not operator-reported figures. Suppose a fleet keeps $14 per ride after transaction-level deductions, while one car creates $250 of direct daily cost. It needs about 18 paid rides to cover vehicle-level expenses. At 12 rides, it loses $82. At 24, it creates $86 of contribution, not company profit. Only 6 passengers separate a losing car from a contributing one, but geography decides whether those passengers exist. Place 2 identical Robotaxis in the same city. Car A works downtown. Apartments, offices, hotels, hospitals, restaurants, and stations generate requests throughout the day. After each drop-off, the next pickup may be blocks away. 24 rides are possible, unpaid mileage falls, and revenue per available hour rises. Car B works in a scattered suburb. Homes are far apart, demand peaks around commuting hours, and trips often end where no customer is waiting. It may complete 12 rides while traveling nearly as many unpaid miles as paid ones. Same car, same software, same fare card. One contributes, one loses money. The suburban trip may even charge more, revealing something mentioned earlier. The highest paying passenger can be the least valuable. A $40 airport or suburban ride looks excellent on a receipt. But if the car returns empty for 40 minutes, the next hour may earn less than several $18 downtown trips, ending beside waiting customers. Do not optimize one trip. Optimize the fleet's next hour. But can the operator simply add more cars? More supply reduces waiting and pickup distance. More riders create denser demand, and denser demand makes nearby matches easier, a network effect. Yet excess supply creates idleness. A fleet large enough for rush hour may be oversized at midday. Spare cars improve reliability, while others charge, get cleaned, or receive maintenance. But every reserve vehicle is idle capital until something fails. Too few cars create long waits and lost riders. Too many create weak returns. And this is where the passenger enters the financial model. Why do people try a Robotaxi? Curiosity creates the first ride. Promotions accelerate it. Some passengers value privacy, silence, control of the music, and freedom from conversation or tipping. But novelty is customer acquisition, not retention. A discounted ride may generate a viral video while destroying contribution margin. The service becomes a business only when passengers return after the discount disappears. Obi, an independent ride comparison company, surveyed 507 consumers in robo-taxi markets in 2025. Among the 114 respondents who had used Waymo, 70% preferred it to a human-driven taxi or rideshare. That is a preference statistic, not a disclosed retention rate, but it suggests experience can turn curiosity into real demand. Across the survey, 42.7% would pay some premium. 39.1% would pay the same or less, and more than a quarter would not take one at all. Trust is not one number. It grows when driving feels predictable, pickup and drop-off are clear, the cabin is clean, support answers quickly, and the system explains an abnormal stop. Now make the stakes personal. What happens when the car stops somewhere unfamiliar? What happens when a passenger is frightened, stranded, or cannot get help? One abnormal ride can erase the confidence built by 5 normal ones. The software may be statistically safer and still lose that rider forever. But can regulation protect passengers without damaging the economics? A permit is also an operating constraint. Service area boundaries remove customers. Hour limits eliminate parts of the day. Speed, weather, and roadway restrictions can lengthen routes or prevent trips. In 2022, California regulators allowed crews to collect fares with 30 driverless vehicles only on selected San Francisco streets from 10 at night to 6 in the morning at no more than 30 miles per hour and not during specified severe weather. Those were safety rules, but also economic rules. An 8-hour window removes 16 possible revenue hours. A limited zone can reject valuable trips. Weather restrictions can park a financed asset when demand rises. Regulation does not appear as a normal expense, yet it can decide whether revenue is legally possible. And what happens when permission disappears overnight. In October 2023, the California DMV suspended Cruise's driverless deployment and testing permits effective immediately, citing public safety concerns and alleged misrepresentation of safety information. The state utilities regulator also suspended its ability to carry passengers in driverless vehicles. Revenue-producing cars became parked capital. This is fleet-wide risk in everyday language. One defect, incident, disputed disclosure, or regulatory decision can affect many vehicles at once. Economists call it correlated risk. Instead of one driver making one mistake in one car, one problem can stop an entire system. The payments continue. The revenue does not. And this is where the company building the miracle can end up working for the company that owns the app. A ride-hailing platform's unique advantage is demand. It has customers opening the app, stored payments, tested pricing, and human drivers available when Robotaxis cannot meet the peak. Its vulnerability is dependence. If autonomy providers build strong brands, the platform can become a distributor fighting to defend its fee. The software provider owns the technological moat and can license it without financing every car. Its vulnerability is huge development cost, safety exposure, and pressure from partners to reduce its price. The automaker can manufacture vehicles at scale. Its vulnerability is commoditization. Without the software or customer, it may supply replaceable hardware. The fleet operator understands charging, cleaning, maintenance, and local deployment. Its vulnerability is capital intensity. It owns the depreciating assets and absorbs downtime. No participant owns every advantage. So return to the opening $25 fare. There is no universal public split. So this is an illustration, not a disclosed contract. $5 might reward the platform that found the rider. $4 might pay the autonomy provider. $6 might cover financing and depreciation. $3 might support charging, cleaning, and maintenance. $2 might cover insurance, payments, and remote support. $5 remain as vehicle contribution before research, mapping, legal costs, expansion, and taxes. The passenger sees one payment. The industry sees a queue. Now the second reversal is complete. The highest margin company may license the driver, avoid owning the fleet, and never carry passengers. But it may also surrender the customer, data, and pricing power. The winner will be determined by who controls demand, keeps pickups short, survives regulatory interruptions, earns repeat trust, and carries the risk while a vehicle waits instead of working. Autonomous driving does not guarantee autonomous profits. The empty driver's seat removed one person from the car. It did not remove the financing clock. Until enough passengers return at prices covering the whole system, the machine may know exactly how to drive, without knowing how to make money.